everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Triple Option, and it is a victory edition because the Noles, they did the unthinkable. They looked like they were going to beat them by about 75 points. Ended up pulling a 31-28 upset at home over the number 5 team in the country, the UNC Tar Heels. Mac Brown comes into Doak a loser yet again, and it had everything. It had what it looked like UNC against a team that I had never seen before from the stuff going on from Florida State, but we had defense, we had offense, we had special teams. Mike Norvell's a little baby. Special teams play, pressure, just – we're going to get into it. I want to break down the film but it was fun to bask in. It was a nice feeling. I had my chest puffed out all day today when I was walking around the mean streets of Iowa. But guys, we're going to get into the nitty gritty, into the film. Just want to get your thoughts initially. Kevin, I want to talk to you first about the defense. Which team's defense is this? Like, what happened? Was it were we building off what happened in the second half of Notre Dame? Were there some scheme adjustments? But I like the defense.
Yeah, it's I think Fuller deserves the game ball, in my opinion. You know, if you're giving one out, I loved his game plan. You know, I might talk a little bit more about that on another video, maybe in the bye week. But man, I was so impressed by the defense. I remember turning over to Brett, who's another writer on Tomahawk Nation, before the game, and I was like, it seems like our linebackers are like just a step away from being serviceable and being like decent, you know, like going from totally missing the play and them getting 80 yards. Sorry, my dog's in the back.
That's a cool dog. Let her ride.
And, you know, stopping them for a loss. And they made that mental jump. You know, you see Emmett Rice filling gaps early. You see Dix, I think they simplified the game for him, and he's just attacking downfield. You see Travis J and Gant coming up and making tackles in space, and it just kind of all came together. And, well, I didn't even mention the people who I think stepped up the most, and that's our defensive ends and our defensive tackles. Like Janaris Robinson had the best game I've seen him have in a long time. Josh Kando looks like he's healthy for the first time in like 24 years. And so, I don't know, it just all came together. And I think it didn't hurt that Notre Dame was like, ran a lot of the similar running concepts, like a lot of these power gap concepts. And so facing them, we got to see our deficiencies and really learn from them. And it just shows that these kids are willing to grow and willing to learn.
And it was good. Some guys that have been maligned during the season, like Robert Cooper's, Janius Robinson, Josh Kando, Marvin Wilson had games. The linebackers, Steven Dix and Emmett Rice, were basically on the field almost all night. They made a willful decision to take out Amari Gaynor to kind of play more of a nickel look. But I liked it from my perspective. I feel like it's, other than the Bailey Hawkman game last year, and I'm a terrible barbarian person, it's been a while since we've inflicted some pain or some mental anguish on an opposing quarterback. We just haven't had the pass rush. And there were times where Sam Howell and Mac Brown had the Eli Manning donk face, just like what am I doing? Like we ambushed them, and it was great. And we'll get into how it happened. But Adam, I want to talk to you about the offense, because it happened in spurts. It was kind of a slow start, and then things just started to kind of pile up as the ambush and the prison shankings continued. Why? I guess what short-circuited us in the fourth quarter? Injuries, mental mistakes. What did you see out there, Adam?
Yeah, no, it was interesting. So the first quarter, I think everybody had to be pretty concerned because the offense was sputtering, but again, I thought that it wasn't necessarily what North Carolina was doing, but more so what Florida State was doing to themselves. Travis had some quick feet. He wasn't able to set his feet and deliver some balls accurately. You had an RPO that gets dropped, that gets him behind the chains. You know, Norvell's talked about staying ahead of the chains, and it was crystal clear that when they were able to do that, they were successful. When they weren't, they fell woefully short of being a competent offense. You know, you got into the second quarter, momentum kind of got on your side. Obviously, the first play of the game offensively, bust a counter read and hit a nice little touchdown. But after that, it kind of sputtered there. But then they got into the second quarter and momentum was on their side. They were able to get some of their outside zone game into the boundary. They were able to attack. North Carolina's front and what the looks that they were getting, and have success with some of their zone running game. And then obviously they were able to set up shot plays down the field as the safeties started getting up into the box and trying to cheat to help stop the run. You look at the stats from the game though, and I'm just talking purely player statistics. You had 2 rushers over 100 yards in Travis and Webb. LaDamian Webb, like, where did that kid come from? Like, does he look like he looks like Devontae Freeman running around out there to me? Like, I know a blast from the past there, 2013 title winner, but like that's what he looks like. The kid's phenomenal. Like, holy crap, what a find out of the JUCO ranks. Jordan Travis is tough as nails. Like, is that kid the Terminator? Like, or like
some sort
Predator,
of android
like,
cyborg alien guy.
Like, he is a badass, and I love watching that kid play football. The second half, you're driving down the field to score, and Dante Lucas gets an unfortunate penalty. The next drive, you come out and on first down, they miss a handoff, or they miss a fake or a handoff. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be there. And it just kind of got back into getting out of rhythm and got behind the chains, and then they weren't able to move the ball. And look at that North Carolina defense it's tricky. They do a lot of different things. So they were able to get them off balance again. And then in the fourth quarter, I just thought it came down to Travis getting hurt. When he went down there, it took away at least the illusion that they were going to throw the ball. And, they're driving the ball. He gets hurt. I don't know what the heck's going on with that injury. And then he got to go to the Wildcat, and, it was not good. So it was just self-inflicted wounds, in my opinion, that kind of got him off schedule. When they stay ahead of the chains, though, they're as tough as they come.
And it was a great performance. We'll talk about the end, like how you can build off it, where you go from here. There was some cool rock smash. And, I mean, definitely some momentum that Florida State needed after a tough week in the recruiting game before. But, yeah, definitely a program-defining moment, and the biggest win that I can honestly remember for the program since arguably some of those wins in 2016, right? It had to be the biggest win for the program since at least the Orange Bowl against Michigan. And you could argue, and I might, that this was a bigger win for the program. But we'll get into all the fun little macro stuff. Let's get into the best analysis in the game with my two compadres, my friends, mi amigos. Kevin, what do we have here?
All right, so this is what I was talking about earlier, where our defense impressed me. They stepped up. This is McClendon, Derek McClendon. He's a young guy. He doesn't get much reps. He's kind of overshadowed. If we can get this guy to step up, we actually have a future on defense. And you'll see him. Well, what I talked about last week a lot, it's called wrong arming. So there's going to be a puller, and he's going to attack the inside shoulder, and that's going to kind of make this running back hesitate. And by hesitating, it gives time for the linebacker to come and fill this gap. So some teams play it where they don't wrong arm, where they do outside contain. In Fuller's system, he's expecting these safeties and these linebackers to contain on the outside. And you can see that it really, when he does his job, it makes everybody else's job a lot easier.
Right. Gives these guys a lot of, and this was directly one of those big, like 60-yard runs. I think might have been the first one we broke down against Notre Dame. And look at that. Like you said, just indecision gives your young linebackers more time to read and react, and a tackle for loss. My God, Adam, how good did that look, buddy?
Well, so what was the main thing we talked about last week when we talked about Notre Dame game was playing on their side of the line of scrimmage, and look where we're at. I mean, look where we're living. We're living right down that little black line there on their side. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world when those guards and those tackles can't climb to that second level right away and get a piece of these backers. And you see where we're at. And look, McClendon, this is a fantastic play. I thought they ate 84's lunch when it came to the run game and him trying to block people. He couldn't handle this front. So McClendon just does an amazing job here. He actually doesn't even end up spilling it because he just blows this kid up. The back has got to bounce, and I mean, he's there for the play. This is textbook defense.
And look at that. Yeah, let that run.
It's nice.
Yeah, and Lundy gets off a block there, something that our linebackers haven't done all year. Adam or Kevin, did we ask our defensive line to do less, or did they just decided, hey, we're actually good So they just played so much better that it's almost, I can't believe these were the same guys from the first 4 games.
I think a lot of it is that teamwork mentality of, I don't have to win the game. I'm just going to do my job and trust that someone else is going to clean it up for me, right? McClendon didn't get concerned with making the tackle. He's there blowing up the play, and it just means that he trusts his guy on the back end, and it simplifies everything for everybody.
Okay. I thought going to the nickel look, they simplified their run fits for everybody, especially the front. I thought they went really more of that 4-2-5 style than the 4-3, where we've seen indecision out of that stud linebacker coming down in the box. Is he coming? Isn't he coming? Is he too far out in space? What is he? They really got the safeties activated with coming up in the run game. And I thought a lot of that just started with, they were like, screw it, we're going to spill everything, bounce this stuff out to the backers and safeties. And I thought that just made it easier. And I think going to this more nickel look helped get them in that position.
Yeah, they knew where to go, and they got there, and when they were there, most of the time they made the play.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on something real quick before we move on.
Okay.
I talked about this in the preview, but Fuller knows Longo's tendencies. He knows that if he sees 6 people in this box, he's going to run the ball. And the key is they've got 6 blockers, we've got 6 men, and it just shows you when you're able to win one-on-one matchups, it makes a whole heck of a difference.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Both linebackers in the backfield. I like that.
Let's stay on defense.
Muy interesante. This is the guy. I mean,
all right, Adam. What do we got here? What do we got here, man? What do you see?
Yeah, it's just a field pressure, and I actually diagrammed this play on some of our Whiteboard Wednesday stuff. I mean, it's just simple field nickel blitz. They slant the line to the left, or the left here. They slant the line away from where the pressure is going to come from. And again, look who he's whipping, 84. They whipped this kid. I'm not lying. I mean, they isolated guys on this dude, and they whipped him and made plays. And
he had some catches, so I mean, I guess he got his at the end. But
he did, yeah.
Right.
Well, North Carolina just said, "Screw it, he ain't gonna block anybody. We might as well send him out on routes." And they did a nice job. They did a nice job of scheming him open with some different trips looks in the second half. But I mean, it's just a great play from Brownlee. And we've seen these pressures earlier in games, but we've seen them coming from Amari Gaynor or Kalen DeLoach, and I don't know if maybe the speed was just more beneficial with a Brownlee who's a little bit quicker. I mean, Gaynor's been one of the better defensive players for them this year, but for whatever reason, I mean, it just seemed to click for him out of that nickel look.
Yeah,
Kevin,
I can count on my hands. Well, no, I can't count on my hands. This is exactly the opposite point. There's so many times over the past few years where someone like Gaynor or a linebacker is right there, and he never makes the tackle. It's so big to see them finish in this game.
Yeah.
I thought Brownlee was one of the defensive backs that acquitted himself very well in this game, as obviously the known pieces like Asante Samuel Jr., Kevin, and then I guess Adam. Like who stood out? Who stood out in the backfield? Because we got Travis J back. Brownlee was on the field a lot. We saw a lot of Dotson. Who do you think really stood out in this game in terms of the defensive backfield, and then also maybe who had a rough one?
I think the same culprits we saw before, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here in this play. But I think they really did want to attack our the boundary side, and you see that towards the end of the game. So on plays like this, you see Akeem Dent at the top of the field just really struggling to keep up in man coverage here. I don't know why I drew an X, but
yeah, I think it makes sense when you see how this play plays out.
X marks the spot.
Yeah, bro.
But he just gets whipped in man coverage.
Yeah, it's poor technique. His eyes are in the backfield.
Adam, so it's a technique thing. Just did he bite on a fake or what?
Yeah. Well. First off, we'll let it run here, but it's not a very good jam. You give up inside. You give it an inside release. And then your eyes are in the backfield on the quarterback and you're in man coverage. And so it's just like, I mean, it doesn't seem to be clicking for him for whatever reason. But as far as secondary guys, but kind of the original topic of how we got on this was, as far as secondary guys that I thought kind of clicked, I think the defense is a different defense with Travis Jay's available, just because I think he's such an incredible athlete and has the ability to finish in space, that they really lack otherwise. I thought Jaden Lars would be. I know this is not going to be a popular statement. Kev has kind of talked to me a lot about it over the last night and into today. When he makes plays, the defense does really well. When he misses plays, the defense does really bad. And I think a lot of it is because they want to funnel a lot of stuff back to that buck line or that bandit safety, and that's which is a position he plays. And when he finishes, they do well because that's what the defense is kind of set up to do, is get him into position to make plays. So they just got to keep building there. But those are two guys I thought played pretty well last night for the most part.
Yeah, I would say for me, to add to that, Travis Jay and Renardo Green, they're putting back at safety, and even I'm blanking on number 31's name here. Raymond Woody played a lot yesterday, and so I think they did a lot better. But I think there's so many times where we're missing open tackles in space, and that, or they're doing a better job of getting there and being in the right spot. But I see Travis Jay like falling at people's ankles sometimes, and Raymond Woody doing the same, and it's like we're getting closer to being there.
Yeah, or Renardo Green getting there, making contact, and getting flattened,
Exactly.
like a cheap late night pancake from the IHOP. Just, but hey, we weren't there a couple weeks ago. Now they're there, and now we're almost. It's almost complete. I mean, we're being a little bit hard on these guys, but they played a really solid game against a very potent offense.
Yeah, Trey. Let me add a little perspective though here. A lot of times last night, you're playing two coverage concepts at the same time on separate halves of the defense, the boundary side and the field side.
Interesting.
A lot of times they're playing a lot of split field coverages last night. I mean, so you think about it from a football perspective, we talk about cover 3 and cover 4 and cover 0 and cover 1 and all these different things. Imagine for these guys that are learning all these concepts and having to run them in games where they haven't had a lot of time to learn them, on the practice field because of COVID. And now not only are they running one coverage concept, but they're running two coverage concepts because they're facing all these wild-ass spread offenses where you really have to be able to do a lot of this stuff to be successful. So they're learning on the fly, and, I mean, you just see progress. You see progress.
Yep.
The Adam Fuller haters need to shut their mouths.
Ooh, spicy. You're over it. You're over it tonight.
The man is heating it up.
Yeah, well-coached game.
It clicked. It was the right scheme for the team that they were playing. A bold personnel decision to take one of your better players, the entire Amari Gaynor, out of the game for the betterment of the game plan. But like you said, man, very well coordinated game. Now this is what we were talking about. Pressure. Joshua Kando eats this guy for lunch. We're playing some games with the defensive tackles. Adam, what is happening here other than Sam Howell getting hit, which makes me happy because I am a bad person.
Well, listen, I can't hate you for that. Thanks, Walt Bell. I wish that's the only thing that would have made it better if it would have been Walt Bell back there. Maybe Willie Taggart too. Yeah, I digress. So first off, we just got done talking about coverages and stuff like that, but look at the coverage down the field if you're able to pay attention to it. Like everybody's blanketed. So first off, this is called coverage sack. I mean, they've got them locked up down the
field.
Tight, they're running cover 1, which means they're man on all the receivers with guys in the safety in the middle of the field. But yeah, I mean, Kando just does a nice job. I mean, it's just I'm not going to call him an explosive pass rusher, but he beats this kid with some length and a nasty little blow to the head there that kind of gets him off. And then the troops rally to Sam Howell because the receivers are covered up down the field. It's able to give time. Look at DJ Lundy coming in there. You got to love that kid. I believe that's Lundy anyway.
Look at him hitting him, Sam Howell, the Ric Flair chop.
And explosive.
When people talk about our defensive line, you'll probably commonly hear maybe technique complaints. I mean, watch Kando. He doesn't really have a move here. He kind of swipes down here.
Bear ball.
You could tell this sack is because Kando is a stud. And I mean, look at this bend, right? That's when you're evaluating defensive linemen, especially defensive ends, you want to see that they can get this kind of angle to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all the physical tools. I just don't think he's got any moves.
Yeah, I don't know how twitchy he is when it comes to getting out of his stance. There's Amari Gainer in the field, at the Fox end, rushing the passer a little bit.
That's a
Uh,
promising. I like that. I like
yeah,
that look.
yeah. So I mean, you've got numbers wise, you've got a man for every man. So they've got a guy to block everybody you're bringing. It really comes down to can you cover well enough down the field and win an individual battle? Kando does, Lundy does, and then your little loop in front gets Corey Durden in position to come off and make a play also. So they're doing the right things, and guys finished.
A sad end for Corey Durden to that game on obviously by the letter of the law targeting, but I mean the guy fell into it. There's nothing you can really. I mean, I guess that's how the law is applied. Whatever. Once again, bad person. I would have liked to see him stay in, but man, did he have a game for somebody that the fan base has? I think, I mean, with validity, crapped on for his like poor play, man. All these guys across the line just stepped up, very promising, and it makes it a different season if this is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, you celebrate, Josh. You did it, buddy.
And then we got this one. Huge play.
Oh man,
Kando
okay.
stepping up.
I fanned. Like this was bad. I was air kicking in my living room like I was Frank Dukes in the Kumite. Like my wife was gonna commit me to an insane asylum. This was nuts.
Dude,
Now,
Trey,
Kevin,
I was in the press box and I wasn't allowed to
did you have to
celebrate, and I'm sitting here like all caps texting trying to get some emotion out any way I can.
So is this okay, Kevin? Recognition, like did he know it was coming? Because dude, it had just the way he played it. You couldn't have played it any better. Guys, so I had so much fun watching this. What happened here, Kev?
All right, so if you guys, I'm gonna kind of
Celebrating guy. Look at that celebrating guy.
I'm gonna puff my own self up here. I talked about how they like to do these swing passes in my game preview, and all game, this is probably the second or third time Kando's seen this. You see this back sneaking out the backfield to a trip side, or even to twins, but he sees it, and he sees it throughout the game. He sees it several times. They just like hitting this little, getting the back in space. They'll either do like blocking like they just did here, or they'll run mesh. And after about the second or third time they've done it, they knew it was a fourth and short or a third and short, and he cheated out there. He took the chance that they were going. He sees this back leaking out of the backfield to trips, and he goes ahead and cheats out and just meets the ball on its way out there. It's beautiful.
That is a well prepared, physically imposing player playing confidently. That shows me once again, Adam, to the full of haters, as we said. I mean, had a really good read of what North Carolina was going to do all night, even if some of the times they couldn't stop them, but they knew what they were going to do.
Yeah, and I wonder if you noticed something in that lineman stance. If you notice on the last play, or the one that they run earlier, the lineman was trying to cut block him, so he's trying to get his hands down so Kato can't come up the field. Now, I'm wondering if he recognized something else, whether it be alignment by the tackle, whatever it is. Notice the cut there. Everybody else is blocking backside. That kid's cutting him. So I just wonder if he noticed something else there besides the back crossing his face that said, "Hey, little bells are going off. This is going to be that swing." But no matter what, I mean, you could tell they were clearly prepared for what North Carolina was trying to do in this game, whether it be running or throwing the ball wise. But North Carolina's explosive. They're going to find their execution. But it's just a great job by. I mean, isn't he trying to be a doctor or something like that? I mean, so Kendo out. I mean, that kid's obviously got the smarts, but you see everybody else flowing off. They're coming off. They're recognizing it too. Dix is recognizing it. There was a good end zone shot of this where you just kind of see everybody responding to this throw like they just knew it was coming. And hats off to the Fuller train, because I mean that the man's got him prepared. He knows what the heck he's doing. We just needed time. They needed time in the scheme.
We'll get a better nickname. We'll workshop better than Fuller Train. I don't like
Yeah,
that. I'm a
listen,
alliterative guy. Like maybe the
that's not
Fuller Force. We'll come up with something.
that's
I
not
don't
my
know.
bag, baby.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. But I like that. We're gonna do a little nickname sesh. All right.
How many times?
God,
Hold
All
on,
right.
though. How many times have we seen that ball hit somebody in the chest and get dropped?
I
You know
know.
what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Like he caught that
Absolutely.
freaking thing, and kudos, hats off to him. He
All
deserved
right,
it.
84. All right, Softy McSoft block guy. Pretty good in the open field. Kev, it seems like the seam was kind of open for business on the defense all night. Didn't bite us enough to make us ultimately lose the game. But why was that play open? Is something that maybe future teams are going to take advantage of.
All right. So a lot early in the game, it looks like we're running what kind of looks like he's got this deep half of the field. He's manned up. He's got a quarter. He's got a quarter. These are the ugliest zones you've ever seen. And
I
then,
like 'em.
remember how I was talking earlier how since this guy's kind of in quarters coverage, there's almost an expectation that he's going to help and run fits, and they kind of simplified things for Dix, I think, and said, I don't even care about you in the passing game. I want you to fill the run. Don't let them run the ball within the tackles. And he was just attacking downfield all night. And in the second half, North Carolina looked at it. Remember how I said earlier how they almost always will run into a 6-man box? Well, they
Right.
made an adjustment. They decided not to. And, Dix he looks lost, but I don't think that he was coached otherwise. I think this was just a good play by UNC.
Right, doing what he's told, but they beat you there. A tendency breaker for them to throw into that box.
Yeah.
Adam, you see anything, or does that pretty much just it is what it is? Caught us with the right call at the right time type deal.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I've been coaching long enough. I don't think you're ever going into a game and saying, "Look, you're just going to play the run." I might argue that point. I might argue that point a little bit. I think he's a little. Well, I think he's a little overzealous here too. You've got Brownlee fitting on another nickel pressure. I don't know what he's
That's
responding
true.
so hard on that outside zone look by the back, why he's flying the D gap when you've got nickel pressure coming. So I do think he's in the wrong here, but it is what it is. You know, they're I talked about it earlier. They're playing a split field coverage, so you've got the three guys down here at the bottom of the screen. They're all working in unison. You've got the two guys up at the top of the screen. They're working together. When that nickel blitz goes, somebody's got to be there to take his
Yeah, that's
place.
interesting. That zone is 100% vacated, and
Yeah.
You're right. That does look funky.
Here.
Yeah, that does look very funky.
And I mean, reality is it's probably Dix rotating wide to the flat, which is going to pull Emmett Rice into that hook curl or that seam spot there. I think Emmett's stuck, and I honestly think Emmett's wrong here. I mean, I don't know the call, so I can't say 110%, but I think Emmett gets stuck here, and he should be dropping underneath of that thing to help out. But what North Carolina did really smart, yeah. Stop
Beautiful drawings.
These are great doodles. You're a doodler.
I'm doing what I do.
Yeah, Picasso.
North Carolina did a great job of spreading the field with this trips look though, and they got that safety out of them. They kept those safeties out of the middle of the field.
The referee the ref was kind of in the way of Rice there a little bit too. A little intentional John Swafford ACC pick.
You got
Tobacco Road. They're playing basketball out there.
You do, but I mean, you see Rice dropping there.
Yeah, you're right. You
see him kind of processing it. I think he just processed it a little bit late.
And these are fun, like you said. I mean, I'm here with two of the best in the biz. Like we said, we don't have the call sheets. We're kind of piecing it together with as much as we got. So we're making inferences. Obviously, they're educated, but like you said, yeah, maybe something to where maybe it won't be taken advantage of so much in the future. Something they can kind of clean up once they take a look at in whose responsibility to guard that space was when they have that pressure on. But yeah, 84 guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a bad blocker. He caught it okay when he was super wide open.
Good athlete down the field.
There you go. Boom.
When I saw this in real time, I was like, Dix has been playing so well in the run this game. I can't even be too upset about this.
No.
I don't want this to continue happening, but if they get a one-off 20-yard run after we've just totally stymied their run game, you make trade-offs on defense.
Yeah, we tip. We'll tip the cap.
All right, let's move on to offense.
Fun. Now we spent a lot of time on the defense because it was shocking. It was shocking how much better they played.
Yeah.
We'll get into the off. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get into the offense right here. Because that does need to be. They still had against a pretty competent unit. They still had a really good showing. Oh man, I love the way LaDainian. Adam, do we love JUCO Mississippi guys? Man, is he really caught on the past couple weeks? Mississippi.
He is a lot of fun to watch run the football, and you notice like Corbin had one mistake, and it was like, okay, LaDainian, get in there, and like Toafili, that was the big name earlier on. No, this is Eight's backfield. He's the man back there, and he has owned this thing.
What happened to Toafili? Is this just Webb taking everybody's carries, or is he hurt? Do we know? Because I don't know if I saw him at all last night.
I think there's just a trust factor. They trust Webb's got the hot hand. There's a trust factor with him right now. I think Toafili may have been in a one play, but I don't think it was on offense. And I just think they're tightening up for guys that they trust to get the game plan executed the best.
Right. The rotation shortening for sure.
Not that Toafili has done anything wrong or is doing anything wrong. We saw him mess up against Notre Dame. He got pulled. He didn't go back in the game. I just think they're trying to continue to establish that culture, and some of that is, look, Webb is a monster. Why are you not? Why would you take him out of the game?
Kev, what about this play made it so successful, other than just Mississippi JUCO boys doing what they do?
All right, so there are a couple things I want to talk about on this play because you saw Norvell go to this formation a lot. So he's got a tight end up here and another H-back, kind of as this like kind of hybrid wing fullback that's very popular in today's game. And so basically he's overloading this side, meaning that he's got, if I draw a line down the center, they've got 5 guys over 4 guys, meaning that either this safety or this corner or this safety has to be the one to tackle the running back. I mean, there's obviously a pull on top of this, but they want to put these guys in a situation where they have to make a tackle because they showed against Virginia Tech that they can't do that. So I like this. They went to this a lot. He had to make some checks. My best guess is that he checks the side of the run. Norvell talked about this in the post-game press conference. He checks it based off of the alignment of these outside linebackers. So this guy and this guy, whichever one's closest, I think they tend to run it to because it makes the blocking angles easier.
I like that you said that because it just shows Jordan Travis has full command of this offense. And even the stuff that doesn't get like the passes and the runs, like things like this, where he knows where to put his team in the right position to succeed. So it's just more encouraging stuff all across the board.
And it's just an outside zone run play. And then watch Jordan Travis here. Oh, he gets pancaked.
Oh, he's got to stop. Just okay. Yeah. Like it. He can't play any other way, but he's doing so good right now that it's like, dude, you put yourself in harm's way enough when you carry the ball.
He's a football player, dude.
He's playing.
How are you going to talk about this play? Talk about Jordan Travis trying to block somebody, now talk about the freaking offensive line and the job that they do, though.
Because
it's trench, yeah. Because
I'm a quarterback by trade,
monster.
Man.
We've last week against Notre Dame talked about, the defensive line for Florida State not playing in the backfield, get moved. Look at the movement they get on this play for Florida State against North Carolina's front. You've got Bavion kicking a corner. I mean, you've got guys 3-4 yards down the field. Where the hell did this ever come from? What is this offensive line, and when did this happen? Because Alex Atkins has done a miracle with these guys, and it doesn't happen all the time. They're doing an amazing job of finding and attacking angles. I don't want to say that about Norvell right now. He has attacked angles better than I've seen anybody do it in a long time. It's kind of the Gus Malzahn tree of they find an angle and they are going to attack that thing until you adjust, and when you do, they're going to attack another one. It simply is incredible how they attack these angles on all these defenses that they have faced, and every week it's different. It's never the same.
Right.
They were running down into the boundary this week because they had a 1 tech over there, and then North Carolina put the 3 tech over there, and they started running counter trade, doing other things in the field. I mean, it was simply incredible.
They've got, like you said, the guy is just such a savant when it comes to these type of play setups and angles of attack, that even if something gets adjusted mid game, that gets countered with another adjustment from Mike Norvell, and it's really promising. Also, shout out Bavion Johnson, just a nice bounce back from I think he was our highest graded
PFF
offensive
player.
line per how much stock you put in those, that's up to you, but at least it's a solid indicator.
It's the first time that's ever happened in his career. Kev's mad at me because I stole the shine from his little quarterback.
I'm a big
Well, it's
JT
about to come
fan,
back.
man.
Speaking of designed, another,
Oh.
once again, if I was kicking like Frank Dukes earlier, I was drunk. I was drunk David Lee Roth from 1985, just Van Halen kicking this time. I may have pulled a hammy. My God, what? Kevin.
Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace.
Yeah, Van Halen, rest in peace. Yeah, just well said, Adam. What happened here, Kev? God, design trickery, right? Trickeration?
First of all, I want to talk about this formation. It's hard to see from here, but he has an empty set with 2 tight ends. So I'd never seen that before. I'm sure that's something that you might see other places. I feel like I watch a lot of college football, and you just don't see formations like this. So that was a cool little wrinkle he went to a couple of times, and it just kind of, I think they just weren't ready for it. Look, they're playing man
laser
defense across the
focused
board.
on Jordan Travis. Look at the eyes of every single defender. Laser focus. And Preston, you beautiful, beautiful walk on tight end. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's just a beautifully designed play. There's not much else you can talk about here. I mean, AB will figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did a nice job with personnel because like you said, you got the two tights in the running back, which helps you get that base personnel out there. So you're going to have a little bit heavier defenses as opposed to a nickel look or a dime look on 3rd and long, which I think that helps set this up because you got backers and they're not always comfortable in pass coverage. But I mean, it's a great play call at a great time and perfectly executed. I mean, how big a play is this though? Backed up on your own end zone, and you get a 40-yarder out. But who's expecting Preston Daniel? All he's done is block. If you watch him, he never goes out in routes. He's always kept in there blocking. This is just something you've been setting up for a couple weeks, and there you go. You needed it.
Before Jacksonville State, Jordan Travis couldn't throw, and before North Carolina, Preston Daniel couldn't catch. Now the ACC's put on notice. Our players can do it all.
So where did Preston Daniels come from? Is he a walk-on?
He's an old Texas walk-on, right? I mean, Memphis. Sorry, he's a Memphis walk-on, right?
No. He's a true freshman. He was a lacrosse player. And he's out of Tennessee. They knew about him somehow up at freaking, maybe he wasn't Memphis, I don't know, but they knew about him somehow. He was a lacrosse player, and he showed up here, and they gave Wyatt Rector the scholarship. They should have given him the scholarship.
Ooh, another weed. There's a Rector hive. Easy, bud.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, okay.
There's a Rector hive.
All right, last play.
Yeah, let me know when, but come on.
God, I love that.
I'll fire people up. I don't care.
Kevin, fire me up, dog.
So remember that formation I was talking about earlier that he kept going to?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna talk about it because it's happening here. You got the tight end and you got the H-back to the nub end of the field. They're expecting the run. And it looks the same. It looks the same as in the 2nd and 3rd quarters, he ran this formation a lot. And, when you show a tendency and then you break it, good things happen.
I love how Mike Norvell knows how he's going to be scouted by the other opponents and just will run tendency breakers like this all the time. I mean, North Carolina did it too on that one play we broke down with the tight end, but good. Oh man, fun flip. I love flips into the end zone. Adam, how do you think the wide receivers played this game? I thought it was at the beginning. I thought it was very rough. I think Wilson, the guy who caught this touchdown, missed a pretty easy pass a couple drives before. How do you think the wide receivers did overall without Tamorrion Terry in the lineup?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was hot and cold, like you said. Wilson dropped the RPO post. That was a big play and would have been a first down. Thompson, he runs a bad route, then he makes a nice play down the sideline on a go route.
That was a good catch. That was a weird catch too. Hands
down,
very low.
it was a very professional catch. I don't know, man. He's an enigma. I so wish he would put it together and become a freak that he could be. I thought that this group was what they've been all year, minus Terry. Terry obviously shined against Notre Dame and had struggled previously. I thought they were just hot and cold. They had moments where they really made great plays. Keyshawn Helton obviously had another shot play later, and then had the 50-50 ball where he couldn't come down in bounds. That's what this group is. They're making big plays and then not. And so much of it is how well Norvell can scheme them open. If you can't scheme them open, they're not making plays, minus Terry. So this is one of those examples where he was able to get somebody open, and Wilson was able to finish.
Well, that was the last play, right, Kev?
Yeah, I think that's all we got.
Let's talk about where Florida State goes from here, because we talked about last week, they put together a really good half of football against Notre Dame. Yesterday or Saturday, whenever you're watching this, they put together a very solid full game performance against the number 5 team in the country. But even to me, there was some stuff they left on the field, bonehead plays, just some drops, some things like that. Injuries played a part. This might not even Florida State's performance against North Carolina, beating the number 5 team in the country. They could still have played a little bit better throughout the entire game. They had a chance to legitimately blow them out, like a 3-touchdown. You score on that first drive of the third quarter. Who knows, man? Like who knows? So I'll go Kevin first and then Adam. Just give me final thoughts on the game and where Florida State goes from here. Like, this was crazy. This is a game that nobody thought that they would win, and they did.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think the whole time I was just like, man, I don't think we're going to win this. I'm happy that we're just in the game at this point. Like, if you had told me we're winning by 3 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I'd be stoked. I'm like pulling my hair out. You know how it goes. But I think you can continue to expect that defense to step up. A lot of it's just being on the same page, like we've been saying over and over since the beginning of the season. A lot of this is just continuity. These kids aren't used to this system. They're getting used to playing together, getting used to doing this. I haven't looked back to see if Florida State was doing the spill technique or if they were containing last year. So that might be a new thing, and that might be one of the reasons why you see them struggling against the run early on so much. And so you just have to be excited. It's a great performance against a solid North Carolina team, and I think we can sit here and nitpick little things. We can say we want to put in some freshman quarterback who I won't name because he's going to be better. But that freshman quarterback isn't going to be running downfield, trying to make blocks for his running back 40 yards downfield.
Before Adam gets in, before I could see the beads of anger sweat dropping down that perfectly polished head of yours. Listen, I'm gonna let you guys have your little trouble battle here in a second. But you were
didn't
so
name
right.
A quarterback.
You were you didn't have to. You know his triggers.
I was talking Tate.
Yeah, right. It's so right, guys. Live in this. This is something to be positive. We are like critical because it's our job to like break down and analyze. But once this laptop's over, I'm $1 million. I'm walking on cloud 9, 10, and 11. That was awesome. Soak it in, especially for a fan base. I felt that there's been so much positivity that's been like just pent up, right? Like when you kink a garden hose, that it just like exploded all Saturday night. People that like Antonio Cromartie in between having his like 17th and 18th kid and like he was critiquing kids all week. This guy sucks. He was saying nice stuff. Deion Sanders, if he can cash like Under Armour checks, I'm sure he said nice stuff. The fans were happy. Everybody's happy. Just be happy. Just be happy because it was an awesome moment.
We're playing football.
That's right. We did football. We're playing football in 2020. Something good happened in 2020 to us. Now, Adam, think about all that I just said before we start talking about quarterbacks. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy.
I don't even want to talk about quarterbacks. I just want to talk about what the next step is. And the next step is just you start – they would have practiced night. And the next step was just correcting those mistakes and showing up and having an attitude of work that Norvell's been talking about all the time. So much of the season has not been about execution on the field. It's just been about establishing a mindset and a culture off of it to prepare for the games on Saturday. And you've heard him talk about it. I can remember Jimbo talking about it. It has always been about preparation for Saturday has always been the biggest thing. You mentioned Dion. Dion always talked about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday they were always when you were doing your best work to prepare for that big test on Saturday. And I think that they're starting to get that mindset down. That it's not shocking that they played their best game coming off the week that Norvell described as their best week of practice. And I just think that that's what they're trying to get. And I think they're going to continue to hammer that no matter what. Wins, losses, it doesn't matter. But what this does is it just, you had your best week of practice, you went out and had your best game, and you're in a big win against a number 5 opponent. It just continues to settle that locker room that he knows what the heck he's talking about and what they're doing, and that their message is correct, and it's going to take them to the next level. X's and O's, these dudes get it. They're amazing at it. They're great teachers of football and great teachers of scheme. It's the buy-in of work and commitment to being your best self, play in, play out, that they've had to fight, and I think that they're finally getting there.
You were a coach. You were a coach. You are a coach. I could tell. I want to run through. I'm just going to run through my drywall. Well, listen, the progression of the team, it's moving in an upward direction. They had their best game of the year. We might have had our best episode of the year, guys. I thought it was great. Continue.
He's number 12, right? He's
yeah,
12?
yeah. Chubbs. Chubbs got Chubbs Peterson.
But can we? Let me just say, I know we're running out of time here.
Uh-huh.
Jordan's been hurt 2 games out of 2 right now.
Yep. No, I agree.
You've got to have something.
And JB1 is not that something.
No, James Blackman can't be your answer. So you know they've got to be getting him ready. I don't know if it's Louisville or they're coming out of the bye. We'll see.
There's a Chubba Shark. There's a Chubba Shark circling the waters. Like I said, Jordan Travis plays like a madman, but he is only human. So there's something we'll keep our fingers on the pulse there. But listen, guys, best episode ever, best game ever. We're gonna be here every week with you. Talk to the good, like today, the bad, hopefully never again. Hopefully Florida State continues to go undefeated. I mean, they've been doing pretty good since the show started, but we'll be here every single week. And to get our stuff first, you go to Tomahawk Nation, but more importantly, you subscribe, or I guess as equally importantly, sorry, I didn't mean that, Tomahawk Nation. Subscribe to X's and Knowles YouTube, because I know it pushes out the videos. Subscribe to his work. Look for Adam's stuff, the Whiteboard Wednesday, all the stuff. There was a ton of clips that we didn't even get to you. It's going to be on this YouTube channel, X's and Knowles. Subscribe. It's going to be all over Tomahawk Nation. Check that out. Check out all the other great stuff that the site's doing, the Seminole Rap podcast, everything. We will be here for you every week to break it down in only the way that we can. So for my man, Chubba fan, #1 in the entire world, Coach Adam Brown, for Kevin Little, my video vice lord, and Kevin Little's very cool dog that was sniffing stuff in the background. I am Trey Rowland. You have just been immersed in the triple option. Enjoy the experience and go. Wear your Florida State golf polos with pride as you go to the office on Monday. Puff your peacock chest out for the world to see. And it's great to be a Florida State Seminole.
Good Oles.